Laos Logistics Link, the LLL project, regional cooperation for future growth. The Southeast Asian region, or ASEAN, is brimming with economic growth and prosperity. With robust domestic private spending and the implementation of planned infrastructure initiatives, the ASEAN region is poised to maintain its growth momentum, averaging 5.2% per year. From 2018 to 2022, Laos PDR, Cambodia, and Myanmar are projected to grow the fastest of the 10 member countries in the next 5 years through 2022, while Vietnam and the Philippines are expected to lead growth among the ASEAN 5. The region's growth and prosperity is due to the strengthening of economic and social cooperation between the ASEAN nation members through various development programs, such as the Greater Mekong Sub-Region Economic Cooperation Program, supported by the ASEAN Development Bank. At the center of the ASEAN and GMS region is the Lao People's Democratic Republic, or Laos. Many infrastructural and economic development projects have been implemented in Laos in order to realize the vision of a more logistically and commercially connected ASEAN region. These projects include the railway project from Kunming, China to Vientiane capital, Laos to Cambodia. The railway project from Vung Anh, Vietnam to Vientiane capital, Laos. The highway number 13 project from Kunming, China to Vientiane capital, Laos. The highway number 8 project from Vientiane capital, Laos to Hanoi, Vietnam. The highway number 12 project from Ta Kek province, Laos to Ha Tin province, Vietnam. These projects will provide Laos the opportunity to solve some of the country's key logistics issues that have limited its growth in the past. Although Laos has been enjoying an average GDP growth rate of about 7% per year for the past decade, its full potential for growth in trading, industrial development, and manufacturing has been limited by the lack of access to sea transportation. Due to Laos' geographic location as a landlocked country in Southeast Asia, bordering with Vietnam, Thailand, China, Cambodia, and Myanmar, transportation and logistics of goods to and from other countries can be very costly. To further address this issue, under the direction and vision of the Lao government and in accordance to the national strategy to transform Laos from a landlocked to a land-linked country, a series of energy and infrastructure projects has been developed to realize this vision of an interlinked logistics system. Petroleum Trading Lao Public Company, or Petrotrade, was granted the honor to jointly develop the LLL project with the Lao and Vietnamese governments, which include the Vung Anh port, the Vung Anh to Vientiane capital railway, 2,000 megawatt coal-fired power plant in Kham Muon province, Laos, special economic zones logistic parks at Kham Muon province and Vientiane capital, Laos. Through the cooperation and shared vision of the Laos and Vietnamese government, a joint development agreement has been signed on the 5th of February 2018, which will give Laos a direct access to Vung Anh seaport and to jointly manage and develop the port. The Vung Anh port is located in Ha Tin province, Vietnam, which is a seaside province located in the central part of Vietnam, about 145 kilometers away from the Cha Lo Vietnam-Lao border. This makes the port a unique proposition to serve as a gateway port for the central Vietnam, Laos, and northeastern Thailand. The Laos and Vietnamese government have agreed to jointly develop and manage berths 1, 2, and 3 of the Vung Anh port. The port is currently in operation and have facilitated the transportation of cargoes such as containers, wood chips, potassium, gypsum, iron ore, and coal. There are currently plans to develop the terminal capacity by adding a third berth of 225 meters for 50,000 deadweight ton vessels and a design capacity of 3 million tons per year. Based on the market research studies by Royal Haskoning and other sources, dry bulk volumes to the Vung Anh port in 2014 reached up to 2.9 million tons, but is estimated to increase up to 20.2 million tons by 2030. Container volumes to the Vung Anh port in 2014 reached up to 462 TEUs, but is estimated to increase up to 240,460 TEUs by 2030. In preparation to capture this expected market growth, the Lao government has partnered with a reputable private sector developer, Petroleum Trading Lao Public Company, and has established a joint venture company called the Vung Anh Port Development Company. Vung Anh Port Development Company's aim is to jointly cooperate with the Vietnamese government in order to develop and manage the Vung Anh port for the benefit of both countries, to ensure that the Vung Anh port will be in a position to capture the market growth of volumes in the near future, in cooperation with the Lao and Vietnamese governments. Petroleum Trading Lao Public Company will invest up to $300 million to upgrade the facilities, machinery, and equipment of berth 1 and 2, and to construct the newly planned third berth. The bulk of the cargoes and products being transported to and from the Vung Anh port will be mainly through trucks and a developing railway that will connect Vung Anh to Vientiane. The Vung Anh Vietnam to Vientiane Laos Railway project was conceived in December of 1995 with the proposal of the Singapore Kunming Railway Network at the 5th ASEAN Commemorative Summit. The Vung Anh to Vientiane Railway is one of the proposed rail lines that needs to be constructed in order to make this vision possible. Both the Lao and Vietnamese government have agreed to jointly develop the Vung Anh to Vientiane Railway project with the goal to increase economic growth, regional connectivity, and strengthen international cooperation. The Vung Anh to Vientiane Railway is conceptually designed to be a single-track, electrified locomotive that will stretch 241 kilometers from the Vung Anh port, Vietnam to Ta Khac, Kham Muon province, and another 313 kilometers from Ta Khac to the Vientiane capital of Laos. The estimated project cost is up to $5 billion. The Vung Anh to Vientiane Railway will also be an important component in helping to develop the major power project of Laos, the 2,000 megawatt coal-fired power plant at Kham Muon province. Petroleum Trading Lao Public Company, Petrotrade, is developing a 2,000 megawatt coal-fired power plant in Kham Muon province, Laos, with the project cost of $3.5 billion in order to provide a stable and firm energy supply for the development projects of Laos and neighboring countries. The project is about 145 kilometers east of Ta Khac and 200 kilometers southwest of Vung Anh Port, Vietnam. The Kham Muon coal-fired power plant will be powered by coal which will be imported from Indonesian and Australian coal mines to Vung Anh Port and then through the railway to the power plant, helping to increase the revenue of both projects. With the development of the new logistics system as a result of the Vung Anh Port and Vung Anh Vientiane Railway projects, this brings with attractive opportunities for the development of special economic zones in the area. The Vung Anh to Vientiane Railway will stop by a planned world-class special economic zone developed by Petroleum Trading Lao Public Company in Kham Muon province and Vientiane capital. These special economic zones will focus mainly on developing the energy industry, manufacturing businesses, agricultural production, and logistics park. The Vung Anh to Vientiane Railway will be able to directly connect cargo markets of Thailand, Vietnam, and Myanmar to the Vung Anh port through the Nakhon Phanom to Lam Chabang Railway and the Dawei to Lam Chabang Railway, which will provide a more cost-effective transportation option to export cargoes to larger Asian markets such as China, Japan, South Korea, and Hong Kong. Incoming cargoes to the Vung Anh port intending for the ASEAN markets will also have a cost-effective transportation option. In addition to the establishment of an interlinked logistics system in the ASEAN region, the Vung Anh to Vientiane Railway will stop by a special economic and logistics zone in Vientiane capital, where cargoes from the ASEAN markets will have access to the Chinese and European markets through a railway connection to the Vientiane to Kunming high-speed railway, which will also connect to the Chongqing to Europe railway, thus positioning Laos as the logistic and trade link for the ASEAN and larger Asian markets. The development of these major projects, Vung Anh Port, the railway project linking Vung Anh to Vientiane, the Kham Muon coal-fired power plants, the special economic zones and the logistic parks in Kham Muon province and Vientiane capital will greatly contribute to the development of Laos and neighboring countries such as Vietnam and Thailand. These projects, once in operation, are forecasted to generate revenue equivalent to approximately 20% of Laos' annual GDP. It will also significantly benefit Laos by transforming Laos from a landlocked to land-linked country in line with the Lao National Economic Development Strategy, providing regional logistics systems and access to sea transportation at a shorter distance, reducing logistics costs for Laos and other countries in the ASEAN region, increasing the national GDP, creating employment opportunities, promoting development of Lao industries, manufacturing and agriculture, further strengthening cooperation between Laos, Vietnam and the ASEAN region. The development of this interlinked logistics system will enable Laos to become one of the key logistics links for the Greater Mekong sub-region and Asia.